You probably couldn't tell, but the notebook that I'm holding in the thumbnail for this video says mathematical concepts on it, and that's because it was originally the notebook that I used when I took a math class in college a couple of years back, and then I kind of just repurposed it, and now it houses all of the information I have on the Queen's Quartet. Hello everybody, my name is Danny and welcome back to my channel. Today we have another tag video because we know how much I love doing tag videos, and this is the WIPstory tag by Katie Ann, and I was lucky enough for her to tag me in it. And basically this is 10 questions about your current writing project, and it's more about the circumstances leading up to you writing that and the periphery details of it rather than details on the story itself. And so I will be answering these questions about the Queen's Quartet, my current project. So why don't we just get to it? So first up, the question is to give a summary or tagline for your work in progress. So for book 1, The Queen's Heart, I would say that the sort of rough summary is that Juno Koenig already has a lot on her plate as the Queen of Lovistava, but then when her sister Cora is kidnapped one day, she decides to follow her heart instead of her mind and goes on an adventure to save her. That doesn't sound very professional. I don't really have a professional summary for this book, but it's fine. I will get one eventually when we get further down the line in writing and editing this. And I don't really have a summary for the rest of the series because I don't want to spoil things on the internet just yet. Question number 2 is, when did you first get the idea for this work in progress? And honestly, I have no idea. I've just wanted to write this for a while now, and then I just decided, you know what, let's do it. Question 3 is, what are the first elements that you came up with? Was it an idea, a dream, a character, an image, anything at all? And for me, the first thing I had was this little story seed where I wanted to write about a girl whose sister goes missing or gets kidnapped or something, and so she has to go on this adventure to go find her and discover herself along the way. Everything just blossomed out afterwards from there. Question 4 is, what has stayed the same in your story? And that exact story seed has stayed the same. It's just about Juno, whose sister Cora gets kidnapped, and she goes on an adventure to save her and finds herself in the process. Pretty simple. So question 5 is, what has changed in your story and why? And I think the biggest thing that has changed from the original idea conception to where I am now is that originally there wasn't any magic. It was just more of a historical vibe, but it took place in a different world. And then I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to have dragons in this. So I came up with a soft magic system, and now it's a full-blown fantasy with dragons. Another detail that has changed is that Juno was originally named Amadea, and you can actually hear more about that in my main character tag video, which I was also tagged by Katie to do, and I will link that for you. Question 6 is, have you started drafting yet? If so, how much have you written, and how many drafts, and if not, what stage of the process are you in? And I actually am in the middle of drafting the Queen's Quartet. If you've been following along with my writing vlogs, you've seen my progress over the past few weeks on how that's going. I have a completely full first draft of The Queen's Heart, which sits at about 55,000 words, I think. And at the time of filming this, I am about 10,000 words into The Queen's Mind, which is book 2 in the series, and this is going to be a 4-book series, and I already have all of it outlined, just have to get through these first drafts. Question 7 is, how did you know who was going to tell the story? And originally, I wanted to do a split perspective between Juno and Cora, but I figured that this was solely Juno's story, and Cora is more of a catalyst in it than a perspective character, though I am open to doing a spin-off for her. I have some ideas brewing in my mind, maybe a companion duology in the works. I'm not gonna give many thoughts to that right now because I'm just focusing on getting these books drafted, but maybe in the future it's something I'd like to revisit. Question number 8 is, what POV and tense is it written in? This is written in the third person limited perspective, limited to Juno, and it's in the past tense, which is 90% of what I write, Although looking back on some stuff that I wrote last year, I was surprised to find how much of it was written in the first person. That just felt so weird to reread because I just didn't think that's something I did, but it was. Question 9 is, do you have a title for your story? When did you come up with it? And if you don't, do you really need one before you start writing or not? And I do, as I've said several times throughout this video. The entire series is called The Queen's Quartet. Then the 4 books in it are The Queen's Heart, The Queen's Mind, The Queen's Body, and The Queen's Soul. And I think I came up with these back in like January or February when I was doing most of the world building and fleshing out for the series, and I'm actually low-key obsessed with them. I think they're such cool, intriguing titles, and I love alliteration, so The Queen's Quartet being the name of the series makes me very happy. Question number 10 is, how did you know you were ready to tell this story? And honestly, I didn't until I decided to do it. So back in November-ish, maybe, I posted a video talking about how I wanted to fast draft all 12 books in my Hercules retelling series, and then I realized how bad of an idea that was. I had only written standalones up to this point, and so I thought, why not keep the same idea of fast drafting all of the books in a series in a row, but start with something smaller? So I was stuck deciding between 3 different story ideas. First was The Queen's Quartet. Second was a dark celestial romance trilogy that I call Of Hellfire and Holy Water. And the third was a dystopian duology that I just call the Jericho duology for now because Jericho is the main character's name. And ultimately I decided on The Queen's Quartet because it had the least amount of work needed to do to get me to the drafting stage. And to put that more simply, I had the most world building done for it. And so I hoped the answers to these questions were interesting to you guys and that you got a little bit more insight into this story that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm not gonna tag any specific people because Katie did tag a whole lot of our friends in her video and I don't remember who exactly she did, so I'm just gonna say if you want to do this, go right ahead and say that I tagged you. It's fine with me. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel for more content, and then I will see you in the next video. Bye!